I'm Joe Catalano with an AM Quincy news update for Wednesday, December 4th. Quincy residents spent over 2 hours last night discussing the proposal to extend the lease that Quarry Hills Associates has to operate the Granite Links Golf Course and Clubhouse. A well-attended community meeting was held at Granite Links, hosted by at-large Councilor Scott Campbell. City officials, including Mayoral Representative Chris Walker and other ward councilors, also attended. Questions included the length of the lease extension for 50 years, the financial arrangements, and the option for Quarry Hills to purchase 12 acres of the property. Quarry Hills says it needs the lease extension to secure financing for a 110-room hotel, permanent 2-story structure to replace the tent, a refresh of the tavern restaurant, and expanded parking. The City Council's Ordinance Committee will hold a public hearing about the plan on Monday at 6:30 at City Hall. The average residential property tax bill in Quincy will be rising by $320 next year. City Council this week did set the new property tax rates of $11.53 per thousand for residential property and $23.01 per thousand for commercial property. The rates reflect the greatest amount that the city can tax commercial property to lessen the burden on homeowners. City Council President Ian Kane feels that Quincy taxpayers are getting good value for their dollar. The City Council approved using $2 million from free cash to help reduce the tax rate, bringing the free cash account down to $1.43 million. The median value of residential properties in Quincy increased by 2.26% this year. The City of Quincy now owns the Wollaston Congregational Church building. The City Council this week agreed to purchase the 1926 stone church on Wollaston Hill for $1.1 million. City Council President Ian Kane read a letter from the church members who explained that they are dissolving the church congregation and wanted the building to be used for community programs. The Wollaston Garden Club also submitted a letter in favor of the city purchasing the building. Mayor Thomas Koch says the hope is to convert the building into a community center for the Wollaston neighborhood. The building is listed on the National Register of Historic Places. City of Quincy has unveiled a new board game called Quincy-opoly. Based on the popular classic Monopoly, Quincy-opoly allows players to buy and sell property in Quincy, such as Quincy Shore Drive, Center Street, and Quincy Avenue. The game was unveiled this week as part of the Quincy 400 celebration that will take place next year. The game and other Quincy 400 paraphernalia are available at the new Quincy 400 headquarters in the Monroe Building on Hancock Street in Quincy Center. The shop will be open the next 2 Saturdays from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. The game costs $25. The Brockton Fire Department shedding light on the dangers of squatting after 2 city buildings went up in flames in the past week. Yesterday, firefighters battled a blaze at a vacant home on Otis Street. Deputy Fire Chief Kevin Galligan said the utilities were off and the front of the building was gated, but the back door was open. 2 days prior, Brockton firefighters fought a 3-alarm blaze at a row of vacant businesses on Legion Parkway. The fire department said that building was known to have squatters. Now, state police with the fire marshal's office are looking into both Brockton fires. Investigators do not know for sure what caused the fires, but Galligan says the issue of squatting means his firefighters have to search vacant buildings despite the dangers. The fire comes amid a hot debate in Brockton on how to handle the city's growing unhoused population. A few weeks ago, the City Council voted to ban encampments in the city and saddle individuals with a $200 fine if they're found sleeping outside. The mayor vetoed that ban last week. The Brockton region has experienced a rapid rise in homeless individuals in the last 4 years, according to federal data. A point-in-time survey found that overall homelessness rose 75% in Brockton and the surrounding region between January 2020 and January 2024. The number of unsheltered homeless individuals nearly tripled, 30 individuals in 2020 to 104 in 2024. Pedestrian was struck by a vehicle and killed while crossing a street in Brockton early yesterday morning. Police received a 911 call just after 6 a.m. reporting a vehicle hitting a pedestrian at the intersection of North Main and Battles Streets. When police arrived at the scene, officers found a woman in the roadway. First responders took the victim to Good Samaritan Hospital, where she was pronounced dead later in the day. The victim's been identified as 37-year-old Betty Etienne, a Brockton resident. Preliminary investigation headed by the state police found that Etienne was crossing North Main Street when a driver in a Dodge Caravan struck her. In addition, security footage of the incident showed the traffic light was green and a red hand was on the pedestrian control signal. The driver of the Caravan, a 20-year-old man, did remain on scene, and the incident remains under investigation. Bridgewater State University will become the most affordable four-year state school in Massachusetts next fall. The school announced it will then begin covering the full cost of tuition and mandatory fees for in-state undergraduate students whose families earn $125,000 or less annually. Joining a growing collection of Massachusetts universities that have made similar commitments, including MIT, which will waive tuition for students from families earning less than $200,000, and Brandeis, which will cover tuition for students from families with incomes of less than $75,000. The University of Massachusetts announced in October that it would do the same, covering tuition for students with incomes of $75,000 at all four of its campuses. The program, called the Bridgewater Commitment, will be available to new and returning full-time undergraduate students enrolled in their first bachelor's degree starting next fall. Students must complete the FAFSA form and have lived in Massachusetts for at least 2 years before enrolling. In-state tuition at Bridgewater is almost $12,000 a year, plus $13,000 for housing and food, $1,200 for books. It estimates an additional $3,100 in miscellaneous costs, bringing the total to just over $29,000. The Board of Higher Education is considering allowing colleges and universities in Massachusetts to offer 3-year bachelor's degrees, reducing the typical 120 credit requirement. Proposed measure aims to provide students with a faster, more affordable path to a degree, although members of the board wondered yesterday about the trade-offs. To earn a bachelor's degree, traditionally a 4-year degree, students are required to take and pay for 120 credits. An associate's degree or 2-year degree is 60 credits. The new 3-year bachelor's programs that some universities around the country are beginning to offer are sub 120 credits. Students will graduate with the same bachelor's degree as peers who attended school for 4 years, but they'll have completed fewer credit hours to do so. Universities and colleges have previously offered 3-year degree completion for students who have a head start from advanced coursework in high school, take extra classes over the summer, or overload their schedule during the semester. Johnson & Wales University in Rhode Island became the first university in the U.S. earlier this year to announce an in-person 3-year bachelor's program launching next fall. The New England Commission of Higher Education, which serves as the institutional accreditor for most of the private and public colleges in New England, was one of the last holdouts in allowing its universities to create a 3-year baccalaureate path. However, this past March, the organization gave a green light to Merrimack College in North Andover and New England College in New Hampshire to begin to develop a 3-year program. However, Massachusetts state law requires that the Board of Higher Education also clear a path for reduced credit degrees. A special session on the topic will be scheduled. 3-year bachelor's degrees are starting to gain traction around the country as a more affordable option for students in certain designated areas of study. Check of business news this morning. Stocks are mixed. The Dow down 76, the Nasdaq up 76, and the S&P rose 2. Global stocks were mixed after overnight political drama in South Korea added to regional uncertainties. Dollar rose, the euro is down, oil at $70 a barrel. And sports. Bruins beat Detroit 3-2 in overtime, and they are in Chicago tonight, 7:30. Celtics are home tonight against the Detroit Pistons at 7:30. Today's forecast from the National Weather Service: increasing cloudiness with a high of 37 degrees. For tonight, rain arrives late and may start as some wet snow, a low of 26. The snow and rain continue overnight into tomorrow morning, ending as some more wet snow, with a high tomorrow of 38 degrees. Sunny and windy Friday with a high of 32. Saturday sunny and a high 34. For the boater, waves about a foot. West wind right now 5 to 10 knots. Becomes southwest 10 to 15. High tide 1:06 p.m. Sunrise 6:56. Sets at 4:11. Traffic note: Fort River Bridge scheduled to open at 9:15 this morning. I'm Joe Catalano with an AM Quincy news update for Wednesday, December 4th.